No. So let's go ahead and start episode 2 called No Johns. Here we go. Speaking of,
I don't want to hear no Johns.
John. What's a John?
It was like 2 a.m. and he was tired.
John's like John's.
He'll get me on the days where I'm just not playing.
yeah, of course,
well.
I'm always down
Johns,
for friendly
just
stuff on
Johns.
free.
A lot of people don't know where the term came from. It just started, but I believe it was a guy in Texas. His name was John, and no matter what, every time he'd lose, he'd have an excuse. He'd have a reason for losing.
My controller wasn't working. The stage,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of lag on
It
the
was
TV.
I didn't sleep last
Rob
night.
Money
I don't
and
know why.
Caveman's
It's on
friend,
my- I need to
John.
warm up.
Yeah,
Oh, sub hype!
like a Swedish
Donger
term.
Duck,
Inga
you were
Jonas is
officially
pretty much no Johns.
in
He
time
used to,
for the
like,
giveaway as
use as
well.
much Johns back
Thank you
in
so
the
much for
time.
My
subscribing.
favorite one, I think, was I was playing somebody and they were like, someone's touching my shoulder. And I was like, no, Johns.
Yeah, that was a very old interview of Hugs. How is the audio balance now, guys? Can you hear me still? How was me vs. Hugs back in the day? Actually, the first time I ever played Hugs was 2006 MLG Chicago, and I went Marth, and I 3-0'd him with Marth. But I didn't play him very often back in the day. Sub hype! Thank you so much, Catering. I really
was like
appreciate
really into the
sub,
word
man.
true that for some
And you
reason.
are
That's like when the
officially-
word just first came out, like everybody
God,
was
this-
saying it. And so I was
this
like
part
walking down the
cracks
street
me up.
and like walking home from school, and I'm just like, true that, yeah, true that, true that. I'm just I said it so much that it became my name.
Smash tag is chaotic.
Sago.
Fair.
Solid Jake is my tag in the Smash community.
JV3x3, just random numbers and initials.
Some people create the tag when they're younger.
Chillin' dude 829.
Morg.
Unknown force.
WIFE wife.
As you get older, you realize you don't want that like name to like stick to you.
I like it. I enjoy it.
Okay.
Today's
I turned
winner
the mic
is
up
Dr.
slightly.
Pee-Pee. Come on.
It's multiple identity routes, so I identify with it.
If I could go back and change it, I probably would. I would be something cool like Dark Rain. But as it is, I'm wife, and
Yeah, I want
identify
Xanadu
with
for
it.
Melee.
I wouldn't say that I found myself in Smash, but I found a second self in Smash. Having this
Yeah,
gamer
me and
tag
she were
and
still
this
friends.
alternate life and this alternate set of friends, this alternate set of goals, allowed me to have an identity that was very different. In regular life, some people call me the most positive person they've met. I'm a very positive person, but in Smash, I'm arrogant. I'm arrogant, and I can be condescending, and I know what I want, and I'm aggressive and forceful, and it's fun to have that second identity. I wonder how many people found
This
a
is
community
another
where
great.
they were able to express themselves where they couldn't before.
Another
I
great
think
job by
Azen may
wife
be
of
one
putting into
those.
words what
I
makes
don't
Smash
know about
so
Azen's real world
special.
personality. I can't say that for sure, but I can say that his personality in the Smash world is very cool, and I did get to know that Azen.
He's one of those players who's just completely 100% like all like thinking.
He's actually the only person to ever beat me in tournament in a Samus Ditto. No one's ever done that, and it was early. I'd probably be able to beat him a little later in my career. They would call him the master of all the characters, and he was good with all of them, all 26. And he would beat a lot of people with their own character, and it's kind of embarrassing because you'd have these people that specialize in characters.
Sub
and beat them.
hype! Thank
And
you
his
so
style
much,
was just
Badoo
very
Crew.
unique, very like.
You are officially
It's
eligible
almost
for the
done
giveaway,
how
which
he
is coming
played the
up
game.
in
Like,
just
It's
a
one
moment.
thing to just learn the game in one way, but like he seemed to master
I'll
it in a
probably
different
just wait till the
way.
end
You
of this
do
episode to do the giveaway at this point.
Forward smash like 3 times in a row. It's like you missed
Sub
the first time,
train,
you missed the
I love
second
it.
time. There's no way he's
Thank
gonna
you
do it
so
the third
much
time. You do it
to
the
all my
third time.
subs.
You're like, that's so stupid. Why did I just get hit by that?
You might not even be able to control the character to like make it look like a top tier character, but like he'll just beat you anyway.
It was very ugly, but he won, and he won a lot.
It's kind of true about Azen's style, just goes for efficiency.
Azen and H2IL won most of their contests with the other East Coast elites, Deadly Alliance and Team Ben. Meanwhile, the newly minted champion of the West Coast had
Yeah, I'm
just
gonna do
met
more
a
chilling with
player
you
who would
eventually.
forever change the face of Smash, and he didn't even play the game.
I actually met Isaiah at TG4. He was a Smash 64 player at the time. He didn't even play Melee at all. He actually money matched me at Smash 64.
Yeah, there's an
And
amiibo
I thought
giveaway
I was
at the end of
really
this
good there. I was
episode.
like, you know what? I don't know. I should money match you. You're probably gonna
Is
lose.
Azen gonna come
And
back
he was
to
like,
Smash?
No,
It's hard to
no,
say.
let's just money match. I saw Isaiah how he's playing 64, and he was amazing. I was like, oh shit. So I was like, you know what, Isaiah? Let's just cancel the money match. He's like, what? How come? I was like, I'm not feeling it. So I told him like, no money match. I was talking to Isaiah about Melee and stuff online that I think he has potential to be good because he's really good at 64.
Using the most unflattering
pictures
pictures of people.
You should come down
Yeah,
2 weeks before
it's kind of the
TG5
case.
and I'll house you. We can practice, become partners, and
Chill
I think
with
we
that.
can be really good. Eventually, we became really good training partners, kind of like sparring. We would grow off each other.
Isaiah's awkward as
we're
serious
visiting a
makes him out
friend
to
in
be.
California.
Isaiah's an odd dude,
So they're like,
for sure.
okay, as long as we're over here, let's go to a tournament over here. This was 03, summer of 03.
TG5, when it first happened, everyone was pretty hyped since the best East Coast players at the time, best Midwest players at the time, all going to one place and Matt Easy was hosting it.
But to be fair, we never gave this tournament credit ever because items were on. From the beginning, even before the tournament happened, we were like, this tournament's fraudulent. Oh yes, thank you Mind Drips for the sub. I love you. Sub hype. And you are now eligible for an amiibo giveaway as well, which will happen right at the end of this episode. As long as I get my sub list from Twitch eventually. But yeah, there were items on for this tournament, so we just did not consider it legit from the get-go.
Ken or Azen, and this tournament was gonna resolve that all.
Azen advanced through the bracket and seemed to be doing well until he faced Vociferous and lost a Sheik Ditto. Knocked into loser's bracket, Azen again fought a Sheik Ditto, this time against Isaiah. With a
I'm throwing some more
punch,
Johns in.
Azen
Not
was
enough Johns in
knocked
this
out of the
episode.
top 3 and out of the money. It seemed, even without their top player, the West Coast was indeed the best coast. But something about the tournament didn't sit well with the boys from the East, and they made it known that in their eyes,
With the boys from the
victory
East.
was a complete and utter farce.
The funny thing about this tournament was items were on, which we were not fans of.
You know, there was a constant debate about the West Coast versus East Coast about items and no items and stuff.
I love items. I think they're fun as hell. But it's no place in a tournament.
And they used them like regularly, and they had like a pretty crazy items list too.
Ridiculous things would constantly happen. You know, you grab a Pokeball, like.
I don't know what you
don't
mean
know
by
what's
that,
in there.
Grand Optimist.
Hearing the stories about the tournament items definitely had an effect on the outcome. So
How many
we
years
wanted
did the West
tournament,
Coast use items in
on our
tournament?
turf
Like
with our
2 to
rules
3 years.
where we still had Ken
Oh god, it was
Isaiah
so bad.
represented and proved to them that
Look how
basically
stylish
on our
Azen
home
was
turf
back in
with
the
our
day.
rules, you can't beat us.
They wanted, you know, West Coast players to come over there. Obviously, like, the only 2 West Coast players they wanted to come over there was me and Isaiah.
We wanted revenge.
2 yawning in the background of that picture is hilarious. We wanted revenge. So, this tournament, oh man, what to even say about this tournament? I guess I'll just let it play and put stuff in as it goes, but this was, to run something of this size when I was 14 years old, and just, I don't know, without very much backup from my crewmates and stuff, it was crazy.
So here we are off to the tourney. This is my buddy Cam.
A wild experience.
Sucks. Oh, doesn't. Chops. I don't know who this is. Right?
He's a Mexican guy.
What are my thoughts about Isaiah? He's a cool guy. Definitely a little bit strange, but
It's just like the place. There's nothing around there. There's
Oh, yeah.
like, no food places
We did-
around. It's just where the
we were
tournament
definitely
was.
late to our own tournament. Classic H2IL. Azen's half Filipino and half
Where's my
Irish,
partner
actually.
practicing?
Most people don't realize Azen's half white.
Who are these people? Oh, it's Joshua. How was the
Oh,
drive?
Joshua.
I was just so excited. Like, look at all these people from all over the country come to play Melee. DA showed up in full force. We even had a couple Canada people.
I think that's the first time I actually met husband and wife too.
Right here. The newlyweds. I saw your picture. This is my
How weird is it watching myself? It's kind of weird.
Awesome.
there's a counterpart to my wife, husband, of course.
Oh, Grand Optimist. Yeah, I mean, I'm just.
I can't tell you how many times I've had to.
I really want to get
gay,
a lot of people
relationship.
interested in the stream,
Thing.
so I don't mind
Newlyweds
using a little bit of my
was a
own
TV
money
show.
to
And
invest.
then Jessica,
It's an investment,
and that
the
was
way I
part
see
of
it.
But also Peach wears a white wedding dress, and she looks
This
like a bride,
explanation.
and so it was silly.
Is this chilling? Or no? That's not.
Oh god. Okay, so I remember being here. I sat here for almost 2 hours. We were already late, and then I sat here for almost 2 hours collecting registration from people. And then I was like, shit, I still have to make the bracket now. And the way I did it, I had a pretty cool seating system that like went out of its way to separate crews as much as possible. The only slight flaw with it was a lot of crews would end up playing all the members of another specific crew. So that was a flaw with my system, but it was a good system for its time for sure. I just had to do everything by hand. So collecting registration fees took like, I don't know, 2 hours at least, and then actually writing up the bracket took another like hour and a half at least. So I was this was not like an efficiently run tournament by any means.
Chilling? Awesome. He's running this whole deal. He's got the money in his hand.
When game over happened, I was.
Why did they let a 14-year-old run TO a tournament? I set this whole tournament up myself, dude. Like from everything from contacting the venue to TOing to getting Ken and Isaiah to come via a team's pop bonus. Everything to do with this tournament I set up myself, so I guess I was pretty capable. Shout out to the Packers. This was the first tournament. That shirt you see I'm wearing, that's the first time I ever wore
I
that
was
shirt.
still very young during this entire thing.
Where did you guys come from?
When did I start giving a fuck about my health? When I was like 17 or 18.
I'm gonna own everyone here today. You're gonna kick some fucking ass. Who's this?
Who was recording these old videos? Jared from Canada, or Mike maybe, the part of the Punch Crew. The Punch Crew was one of the only early Smashers to record videos at all.
Samantha.
Samantha?
Yeah.
Are you playing?
Yeah.
Who are you using? Oh my god, it's Mike. I'm Mike from Canada. How you doing?
In the days before YouTube, Mike and the Punch Crew were one of the only video options in town, and they shared a sophisticated commentary on the game itself. Mostly sophisticated.
Sophisticated commentary.
They haven't heard of you guys.
What? Punch Crew?
What happened? Ouch!
The internet, as well as the community, was still very young.
Who's the chick? It's this girl Samantha, aka Sam from Maryland. I saw her in like 2003, 2004, and then never saw her again. She was one of the first Smash girls ever.
All around the room quiet. They talk all this shit on the internet, and they, in person, it's just like.
Anyone in the community that you
Damn,
have like
almost
two
400 viewers. Oh, that was Muffin King.
All around the room quiet.
Damn, I haven't seen that guy in a
They talk all
minute.
this shit on the internet,
Muffin
and
King walking by real quick.
in person, it's just like.
Right there, Muffin
Anyone in the
King. Shout out
community
to Muffin
that you have
King.
like
Okay,
two
sorry.
personalities. You have like their online personality, and then when you meet them in person.
There's a lot of talk online, you know that?
Yeah.
Play them in person, they're not like.
That's how it is. They want to draw you here. That's all.
The first teams tournament came on. The East Coast at the time weren't too big on teams. They didn't really care. It's all
A lot
about
of talk
singles.
online. I was
So
talking
Isaiah
shit
and
in
I just,
person.
like, stomped through that whole entire
Yeah, I know.
round.
Yurok is the oldest school. See, one thing I don't like about the documentary, probably the only thing, one of the few things I don't like about the documentary, I should say, is that Samox covered teams for Game Over, but then he stopped covering teams almost entirely after that, and I'm not sure why he did that. He covered teams pretty thoroughly here too.
I'm pretty sure no one took a game.
To be fair
off.
though, Ken and Isaiah destroyed us in teams that tournament. Damn, 400 viewer hype. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in, guys.
Winners finals happened, and that was just brutal. Like, Azen and Andon got decimated by Ken and Isaiah.
Oh snap, Azen and Andon's so young. Oh my god.
And
This
it
is
was
some
never
hardcore
really
nostalgia.
close. Teams did have the $300 pop bonus, which is mainly why Ken and Isaiah came, I think, knowing that they had teams pretty much in the
We ran a bunch of bi-weeklies to raise this pop bonus. By the way, for if any of you, if you're trying to grow your local scene, running bi-weeklies to raise money for a pop bonus is actually a great thing that we came up with way back in 2003, and you could still do now and get people to come to your tournament. It's
And it's
really
like,
good.
okay, so there you got what you wanted. Now it's time for singles and whatnot.
It took the longest time to actually get
Singles
singles
and
started
whatnot.
because I had to write the whole bracket out by hand. Stage 2L was all.
Andy, I assume you mean Andon. Okay, Andon is not discussed that much in this documentary, so let me explain a little bit about him. He's Azen's, one of Azen's closest, like, childhood friends. And by childhood, I mean, like elementary school type of thing. I think they met each other on a military base or something like that. And ever since then, they were, like, the best of friends up until Andon moved to Arkansas in 2004, I believe, like, the summer of 04. So not that long after Game Over, but before that, they were just like best buddies, like inseparable. Like they called each other brothers. Like they were super, super close. Like, so that's why they always teamed and everything. Even though Andon wasn't necessarily as good as Azen at all.
That encouraged me, just knowing that my crew is legit. I was just focused on running the tournament for a while until I saw that I had to fight Ken.
The match was crazy because I can remember like at first we were playing on a little screen.
All the Johns that come up are hilarious. I make Johns later too, but
I remember
Ken
playing
makes a lot of
Azen's
Johns here.
Marth in friendlies a lot that week in preparation, and I would get up throw up airs a lot, but I never got them as much as during that first match against Ken. Okay, this strategy is really, really good, and I should probably be using this like at all times. Be honest,
This is entirely true, by the way. I don't know where I just skipped to. Oh god.
On a little screen.
Take one life off. Denver's chill.
Okay, sorry, I just accidentally did that. But what I was gonna say is
I
that
remember playing Azen's
what I'm
Marth
saying here
in,
is
friendlies
totally
a lot that
true.
week in preparation,
That I did
and
not
I would
really
get
do up throw up air as like a
I never
habit
got
or like
them
a
as
regular
much as
thing.
during that first match against Ken.
But that week I was just playing Azen's Marth and noticing, wow, up throw up air works so well. Like I should probably do this a lot.
Okay, this strategy is really, really good, and I should probably be using this like at all times.
The chillin' is simply this. You throw somebody upwards and then hit them with an up air. Do you want me to repeat it so you can get that? Or
Jatanic was getting really hyped for me, and that just started to draw a crowd.
Oh yeah, one funny thing is that I remember Jatanic had the advice of slow it down, baby. First of all, Jatanic just put the word baby at the end of stuff for some reason, which was hilarious, but he goes, slow it down, baby. But I specifically was like keeping a fast pace on purpose, and like I just thought it was funny because obviously I was happy that Jatanic was cheering for me and having people rooting for me was helping. This was one of the few times where I really thrived under the tournament pressure instead of buckling under it.
I can think of
Yeah, this is episode
in my
2.
Melee career where I've been like, oh yeah, I really like the fact that the crowd was in my ear, you know.
See, Samox didn't actually put the full part of that, but what I said after that was this was one of those few times where I loved having the crowd in my ear. They were helping me, like I was feeding off it. And then this combo he does is
I
insane.
did like a really good combo on him.
For back in the day.
Threw him up and I smashed him across the screen.
Oh shit.
This is really good for 2004, but then this sweet spot that I did is also amazing.
He came back.
At that point, I'm freaking out. And I hit him with neutral air, send him off. I see him coming back, and this is a situation I'd seen so many times with Azen, so I knew what was going to happen, and I just wave dash back, let him put out a forward air, and up smashed him.
Up smash.
I like how someone said it right as it happened. You know what's funny right here? When I went to, I was just, as soon as I won, I was like shaking like everyone's hand because everyone went for a handshake. I like reached across the table and the person there was Scamp, who's like West Coast. He's Sultan of Samitude's brother. And like, he looked so shocked. He was like, what? Oh, okay, I guess I'll shake your hand. Like,
I I'd never felt like that good, like ever probably. That might have been like the highlight of my life to that point.
I was never used to losing, and that was a major shock. That I can't believe I actually lost too when I lost to Chillin' Dude.
When someone told me like not too long after that, like, yo, that was Ken's first loss in the bracket, I'm like, oh my god.
It was so close. Like I could have done so.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was undefeated in bracket until after that match.
A little bit of food or something, I could have definitely beaten him. But it's I lost, and the worst part was that I lost to Chillin' Dude.
Oh yeah, that was you that said
it turned me
snacks
from like
up
just
smash.
this guy that plays Melee for fun to like an actual pro player in my opinion. After I beat Ken at that point,
And this isn't really what I meant to say, like not like a pro player, but just a
Isaiah was
legit
beast.
player
We all
basically,
thought
because
Ken
I don't
was
think
just,
pros
you
really
know,
existed.
Overhyped, not.
But this is true. H2L, we all got together and actually discussed this, and we're like, all right, guys, Isaiah's a problem. How are we gonna beat Isaiah? So we had to like really, we just kind of wrote off Ken at that point. That was probably part
Not
of our
very
mistake.
good, like decent, but you know, overhyped. And Isaiah was like really, really good, just based on watching his matches and playing him and stuff.
Yeah,
The
Ken
San
made a
Jose
ton of jobs.
native couldn't help but attract attention. He used the wildest, most unwieldy character in the game. But unlike everyone else who tried, Isaiah made him look good.
Damn, almost 450 viewers. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, guys.
In winners finals, Azen was waiting for him.
Azen versus Isaiah was like one of the first insanely high-level Melee matches where you can watch it and just see the level of like mind games going on.
Man, Isaiah was crazy back in the day, guys. Really can't be overstated. I'll talk about that more in episode 3, which probably will be next week, I think. I don't think well, maybe I'll do it tonight. We'll see after the amiibo giveaway and stuff. This match was so crazy to watch in person. It was just beyond anything any of us had ever seen. Like, it was like the metagame advancing as we were watching it.
At that point, Azen had beat Isaiah, I'd beat Ken. You know, we thought, you know, we had pretty much taken it. But the thing that really...
Now, I don't know if that was actually the winner's finals because...
I lost to...
This is not the set. Because it did start actually with Azen's, it started with Azen's Fox against Isaiah's Falcon. But...
It was like...
Isaiah definitely didn't go Marth at any point. And it wasn't 4-stock, it was 5-stock. So this is a different set that he used the footage from. Probably them playing at FC or something like that. A set where Ken played Falcon against Azen. Ken played Falcon briefly in Grand Finals of Game Over. Azen knew at this point that Fox was a good matchup against Falcon. I think we had like an idea of it, but we weren't like, we didn't realize how bad it was.
At that point, Azen had beat Isaiah, I'd beat Ken. You know, we thought, you know, we had pretty much taken it. But the thing that really killed us was that we were focused on Isaiah. Like, Isaiah's a problem here. Let's talk about how to beat Isaiah. But Ken ended up coming back through losers and, you know, just going on a rampage.
I was determined. I had the eye of the tiger.
You know, he beat Dave, he beats Isaiah, and now at the time we're thinking, okay, Isaiah just let Ken win for some reason because Isaiah's a lot better.
I felt more comfortable, and then I fought Chillin' Dude again.
I wasn't nearly as
I still, to this day, believe that Isaiah gave the set to Ken at Game Over. I don't know for sure, but I just have a feeling that Isaiah did not give it his all in Losers Finals against
which
Ken.
had slightly to do with the time and how late it was, and I'd been running the tournament all day.
I beat the shit out of him when I took him out.
Even at that point, I still didn't think, you know, Ken was, you know, anything crazy. We'll see what happens, but Azen should, you know, wrap this up pretty quick.
Are me and
It's
Ken
2
cool
sets,
as
you
of
know.
today? Yeah, we're cool now. This set, even though it was heartbreaking to watch as a member of H2IL, it was still an insane, it was the first like real counter-picking set we had ever seen. It was 4 out of 7 first of all, which was like unheard of back in the day, but we just decided to make it 4 out of 7. because we didn't really think that like there should be a limit on like how many matches there should be. But these matches are so good. You can still watch them on YouTube if you type in Game Over Finals. I know I made John's, but come on. I ran the whole tournament at 14 years old. My Johns were way more legit. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it was best of 7, 5 stocks. That's why this set probably took an hour plus. As in with the taunt there at the end. Just to briefly talk about it, I love the way that Samox like stylizes these sets in the documentary. He does a great job of just like highlighting certain parts of the stocks, giving you an idea of the flow of the match. It's really good stuff.
Just never let up, and I mean, Azen's not the type to do that either, but Azen didn't have as much of a game plan going in. If he had played Ken in more friendlies or had just expected Ken to come out, he might have had a better game plan ready and things might have gone different, but Ken did end up coming all the way back and taking it.
And Azen was, oh man, Azen was sad. Like I saw his face, he was sad. Like I would be sad too, but I mean he was representing the East Coast at the time. I mean I pulled the impossible again and I managed to come out on top.
You could tell at times like he was upset about his play or something like that, but he did a very good job of hiding it.
This part's so sad. Why do I look 14 in the doc? I don't know. I still had not.
No word could better describe Azen than unassuming. He is loath to accept his greatness. For all the games that he's good at besides just Melee, where he holds these world records in a game that he just picked up just because he's Azen. Not only is he just mellow and kind of goes with the flow, you know, because he doesn't really want to put up a fight, I think he really wants to do everything you say. You know, it's like, hey Azen, do you want to play Smash for 12 hours in a row and not eat? I do. But it's not just the game. Hey, Azen, let's take a road trip to Michigan. Azen, let's put on show tunes. We're going to sing Little Mermaid. And we did sing Little Mermaid. And all those 12, 14-hour trips to the Midwest, he's great company and a great guy.
Dang,
great job,
lose the jabs. No, we scared of the jabs.
The players in different countries in emerging scenes like America and Japan didn't actually verse much at all or integrate in any way, so we didn't have a...
Did I ever play Wife? Yeah, Wife actually had a surprisingly good record against me.
From watching the videos, the Japanese are far more impressive in their technical aspects and their creativity. There was, I guess, a realization that Japan players were probably at the forefront of the metagame at the time, and Captain Jack was the person who was promoting the Japanese scene.
Okay, to be fair, back in the day, everyone thought Japan was the best, just based on nothing but their videos looked flashy. Like, they watch the videos and they're like, oh my god, look at this tech skill, Japan is clearly the best, like there's no way we can compete with them. And it was kind of a, like, it was pretty naive of us to think that, like, just because they're Japanese. There was also this general, I don't know, like, idea in everyone's heads that Japanese people were the natural gamers, Japanese people were inclined to be better at games, which I don't think is necessarily the case. But that combined with the tech skill that we saw in their videos led a lot of people to believe that they were automatically the best.
The question remained, Japan or America? For some, the issue was already settled, but with TG6 around the corner, Matt Deasy saw an opportunity. He invited a few of the top Japanese players to compete in the States, including the formidable Captain Jack.
Azen went to that, Chu went to that.
That was a great tournament.
To be honest, when we were having those back and forths, who's the second best in H2IL, it was most often Chu, more so than any of the rest of us.
In addition to being the first international tournament, TG6 would finally put an end to an annoying West Coast practice.
I remember a match that I saw at TG5 where it was Eddie the Gandor Flayer.
Matt Deasy, he lost several matches because of items. One of them was to me. It was a Sizor. I remember this too. I hit one Pokeball and it was like a Firebird and he was caught in it. And then I hit him with another Pokeball and knocked him back into Firebird. And then the Sizor came out and took him off and he was just like...
And after that, Matt Deasy said, F this, no more items. So he took out items for TG6.
This is so funny that this is what made Matt Deasy decide that items aren't chill anymore, is him getting fucked up by a Pokeball.
I was playing friendlies against Captain Jack the day before the tournament just to see, you know, the difference of the skill level between Japanese and the Americans.
Captain Jack's Bowser beat Ken Smart. I was like, what? Who is this guy? This guy's Japanese. He's like really, really good.
I just couldn't kill him. I just didn't understand why I couldn't kill him. Like every single time I'd smash him at like 100%, he'd live. And that was actually the first time I actually learned about DI.
DI, or directional influence, is the ability of the player to influence their trajectory if hit by an opponent. If mastered, this simple skill can keep you alive, where other players will.
I wish they had more of these segments later in the series. I feel like he just snuck them in the first couple
there is directional
episodes.
influence, DI. It doesn't even become a contest for the players that know what they're doing.
It's just the back of my head, like, DI, DI, DI.
Yeah, in 2004, Ken, Isaiah, Azen, and Captain Jack were the only players who knew how to DI properly. Only. Everyone else was like confused, like didn't do it at all, or didn't understand the concept. Like it just wasn't a very like common knowledge thing that people talked about until later on.
And that totally threw off my game.
Also, fun fact, we called DIing tilting for a long time. Like tilting after you get hit, tilting the control stick in a certain direction, but obviously that's problematic for clear reasons.
I played faster for like third round. I was letting him hit me and I was trying to DI, and then I ended.
And yes, Snex makes a good point, is that we knew combo DI, like we intuitively just felt to DI to get out of combos, but no one DI'd kill attacks the way that those four that I mentioned did, because they just had the DI figured out.
Yeah, people were surprised by that, and I still remember Azen saying like, Sastifer, when he lost to him, he goes, I raped it with my Pichu!
And most people, I assume, are thinking, okay, game over, repeat, he's just going to sweep through losers, and then DSF actually took him out in losers.
It was a bad...
This was probably Ken's worst tournament. I don't know about ever. It might have been his worst tournament ever, because he was on a streak of first at every tournament he had ever been to, and then he lost to a Peach and DSF, who was still like considered like not a noob Sheik, but he was still like up and coming. Like he wasn't at that level yet. So, but DSF put a ton of time in. So props to DSF for beating Ken.
Like, that was the first time I didn't win singles. I know.
Even though we ideally would like to see Azen.
DSF is Die Superfly, a Sheik player from Compton, who we were all really confused when he flew out. Oh, 500 viewer hype, by the way. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. We were all confused, though, when DSF flew out to Game Over, because to us, we were like, if you aren't good at the game yet, like, why are you flying for tournaments? So apparently it was just like to get practice and stuff, and I think he thought he had discovered Sheik's chain grab really early. Oh my god, it looks so ugly in this screenshot. He had discovered Sheik's chain grab really early, so he thought that that would just let him coast to victory, kind of, or at least do really well, which I think he got 13th.
And fight Ken again, because that's just always an epic match. This really opens the door for Azen to take it.
August 22, 2004.
I fought Isaiah
so long ago
with my Ice Climbers, and I beat him. I beat him really, really, like, I don't want to say badly, but like.
He beat him badly. Like, let's be clear here, guys. Chu dominated Isaiah in both sets, in winners and losers, 2-0 both times, and it was just like unheard of. Like, how the hell is Chu had just started using Ice Climbers. He used them at Game Over against me briefly, but like Game Over was one of his first tournaments that he used Ice Climbers at all, and this was only like 6 months after Game Over, and Chu already had probably the best Ice Climbers that we'd ever seen to that point.
Chu beat Isaiah not only in winners, but again in losers. 2-0 both times, just showing like dominance over Isaiah, which no one had ever done.
Everybody was like, oh man, who is this? Look at this Ice Climber player.
Other than Azen and Ken, there wasn't anyone who could really touch Isaiah, or so we thought. And then all of a sudden, Chu comes in with this considered low tier at the time character, Ice Climbers. Like, he single-handedly probably moved up Ice Climbers 10 spots just based on that performance.
And that's entirely true. He moved up Ice Climbers so much just from that tournament.
I lose to Captain Jack.
It set up Azen versus Captain Jack.
And back in the day especially, even now I think, but back in the day especially, the Ganondorf versus Ice Climbers was really bad for Ice Climbers. It was like, Ganondorf was considered to like destroy Ice Climbers back in the day, so that's part of why Chu had a rough time against Captain Jack.
I'm on the phone with Chu while the finals is happening. I remember getting so pissed off that literally everyone in the venue, it seemed like, was cheering for Captain Jack. I'm like, come on guys, I know Azen's East Coast, but can you support your country?
This made me so mad, guys. You don't understand. When I was on the phone and I heard the venue blowing up every time, like, because I was on the phone with Chu because I wanted updates desperately, and so Chu was giving me kind of a play-by-play. And I just hear every time, like, he's like, oh, Captain Jack just got a kill. And I hear the crowd erupt, and I'm like, guys, like, support Azen. It's freaking USA versus Japan. Like, how are you not, like, supporting the US player? Granted, no one had seen a good doc at that point, so that's part of why Captain Jack was getting so much cheering. But at the same time, no one was cheering for Azen, which was what really upset me. What type of skill was Ice Climbers does Chu have at the time? Donger Duck, not that much. He had like a couple of like grab combos, but he didn't have chain grabs or anything yet for sure.
Once Azen won, like, I mean, that was it. I remember putting my SIG, like, congrats to Azen, best player in the world.
This is actually entirely true. I put this shit in my SIG on Smashboards. Congrats to Azen's Age Night, best player in the world.
I was just like, okay, this is it. Azen's the best in the world. He just proved it.
To be fair, that doesn't actually prove that Azen's the best in the world. Like, let's be clear, like, that was one tournament, but it was really impressive that the tournament that Japan showed up to, Azen was able to take it, and I was so happy for him because he hadn't beat Ken to that point, and he didn't beat him there either, but he still finally won.
How good Azen is, best in the world now, not because he beat everybody, but because he also beat a Japanese player. But I mean, he still won. He still won. So, congrats to Azen for that tournament.
Yeah. We were real happy for Azen. This is funny how he does this. He makes it look like Azen comes up on me and Chu's shoulders, even though that was right after Azen beat Chu.
He doesn't get too excited, but he was definitely really happy about it. He had his big ass trophy that he brought home on the plane. He was showing that off, so he was pretty excited about that.
Oh God, this picture.
The aggressiveness and the speed and the combos and everything that goes with that character, it's scary.
That was as Isaiah, as anything Isaiah's ever done.
He's a weird guy.
People loved him for that because it was different, it was unique.
There was emoji girls going around, giving hugs and whatnot.
He had this kind of aura about him that just seemed unbeatable if he felt like it.
The A-Stock facial hair. Alright guys, I think I'm going to do another episode. I'm going to set up the giveaway first because I did finally get the...
More so than that, really, because, I mean, I was really excited about just holding a big tournament. I was like, okay, I want to kill all these motherfuckers in Melee. Like, I'm going to win this tournament, so I was...
The background. Siren in the background.
The master of diversity. I mean, I could see why he has that title, but if you're talking just about Melee, then... We're talking to the real master.
Badamus, yeah, I should put these on YouTube.
That's me. That's me.
That's me.
He was first time. No, he's cool.
No, he's cool.